manhandle people like he did against the Dolphins. I mean, it gets me really excited. But a lot of times with these first-round picks, I always try to temper my excitement and kind of prepare for the worst. It's because really, I mean, in the last decade, it seems like the only first-round pick that's really panned out to be good has been Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
And any one of us could have made that pick. So it's not like
true.
it's not like it's big kudos to Dave Caldwell for finding this guy.
Yeah.
But it's I'm excited for Josh Allen, and I mean I don't know how they're gonna block Calais Campbell, Yannick Ngakoue, and Josh Allen all together.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. We were like, man, like how you can't double team everybody, and so that's just going to be a nasty front coming at the Chiefs, and that kind of transitions us into the Chiefs game. Like, what are you expecting out of that game? Like, what do you see happening?
I mean, with this game, it's a lot's going to have to rely on our offense because I think what the Chiefs offense is going to try to do to our defense is just tire us the hell out. Because I think they're going to run a lot of lateral stuff. Like, in the NFL a lot now, they kind of drop back and then they do that little, like, it's like a reverse, but they do kind of pop up to them.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're going to do that a lot with their speedy guys and just try to run us laterally a lot and just and hope that they can kind of three and out our offense because the offense has to keep stuff going, just so, like, they're not going to make the defense hang out in the field, Patrick Mahomes, and that offense the whole time. So, I mean,
just to give him some rest.
I feel like Pittsburgh tried to do that against us, though. I feel like they got too cute and went east and west a little bit too much, and no, not too successful. I think we're too fast for that, honestly.
Yeah, and like I mean, I'm with that Steelers game. Like that was we matched up really well against those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we saw in 2017 where we swept them, and really our only good game of like at the tail end of the 2018 season
was the Steelers.
Besides our wins, but like was the Steelers. Yeah. I mean, we would have beat the Steelers if it wasn't for Blake Bortles, and also when it comes to the Chiefs game, last year Bortles had 5 turnovers.
Yep.
Like the defense was hanging on. It was like 10-0 or like 10-13 right at the 2-minute warning of the first half. And, really after that was when all the, turnovers started happening where Bortles threw that one nasty pick six to Chris Jones. And he threw it off A.J. Cann's helmet and, like, next thing you know, we're down 20-0. And we never gained any momentum after that.
DJ Hayden playing instead of Patman is such a huge, huge deal. Yeah. He got torched against Dallas and Houston and the Chiefs last year so bad.
Yeah.
So
it's going to help to have him. Yeah. I remember like on the first offensive play that the Chiefs ran, they were in like shotgun. They had 2 backs. They ran the entire formation left, and then they ran Tyreek Hill on like a reverse sweep and just pitched it to him, and he took it off for like 30.
Yeah.
Got called for holding, but it was like on that play I was like, this is going to be a long day. Like this is going to be a long day of us chasing around Tyreek Hill. And unfortunately, he's going to be back.
And I went to I was in Kansas City for that game.
Oh, man.
I traveled out there, and I was so pumped. I was over there with the Sports Fury, and we were 3-1 then. It was like the marquee AFC matchup of the weekend. And then we just go out there and start our 7-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Spinning out to like 2-10 to finish the year. And it was not fun. But we are healthier now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one, even though we are on our third left tackle all of a sudden. But I mean, that's one thing about sitting out our guys was so we could have a clean injury chart like we do. But at the same time, I mean, we saw last Thursday night's game, like those 2 teams between the, Packers and Bears, a lot of those guys, they didn't play their starters.
Yeah.
And they look sloppy. And I worry that not necessarily for our defense, but our offense. I mean, like we weren't all that smooth against Miami at all.
No.
I mean, we took a couple. I think we went 2-3 and outs to start the game, and then I mean we had that good drive on the third drive, and it's like, all right, we're done. That's all you're gonna see out of the starters.
Do you think that benefits us more?
I don't think it does.
No.
I mean, the only thing it benefits is that you're not going to get injured. Like if you're taking starter reps away in the game, and I guess we don't know what goes on at practice, how much they're supplementing for that for actually stuff in practice. But I mean, you're going against the same people in practice as opposed to going up against another team's guys, and it's also 100% full speed. It's not tag them and you're down. And I just don't know. I mean, I don't know well enough because I haven't played in the league, like how much you'd have to kind of ask an actual player their true response, and you're not going to get that until they stop playing. So I mean, I don't know. I think it might hurt.
I think we match up decent with them only because, like, the Chiefs, I think, are top 5 offense. I think the Jags are top 5 defense.
Yep.
And then the Chiefs defense, I think, is like bottom 10. And I think Jags offense potentially could be bottom 10. So I think, like, on paper, I know it doesn't work that way, but on paper, you're kind of looking at teams' skill sets that are similar just on different sides of the ball. Because, I mean, I think our defense could play with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see Jalen Ramsey hang with Tyreek Hill. I'm excited to see Miles Jack covering Travis Kelce. I mean, there's some good matchups.
How often do you think we'll see that Sunday? Miles on Kelce.
Well, I think the Chiefs will game plan to get Kelce out on, like, Jared Wilson, or, you know, I think they'll try to split him out to get that matchup. But I think the biggest matchup concern, and I want to get your take on this, is and then really this is a question from Patrick Jackson, who we love as a fan. He says, glad to catch a live show because he's over across the pond. And he says, are you guys concerned about the left tackle situation?
I mean, I've got to be a little bit concerned because, I mean, Will Richardson doesn't have any snaps there. I mean, he played, you know, his whole college career on the right side of the line. And I read that he's only played, like, left tackle in college on a knee down, and he played, like, a little bit in high school. So, I mean, all of a sudden you're going to be a left tackle in the NFL when you've never played a game before. I'd be a little worried.
Especially going up against Frank Clark, who's a really, really good defensive end. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not only has he never taken a snap at left tackle in the NFL, he's never taken a snap at right tackle in the NFL. Like, he's never really played. And now we're going to throw him to the Wolves. I'm surprised we didn't re-sign Josh Wells.
Yeah, he's out there. I saw he was going to work out with the Bucs, but, I mean, he's been with the team for a while. I mean, granted, you know, when you look at a situation like it's not like he's playing in the same system as he did last year. Yeah. You got a brain office coordinator in there, so it's not like you can say, oh, he knows the system. I mean, he knows it just as well as anybody else out there. But, I mean, you couldn't really rely on him. We gave him a starting spot after, Cam went down, and the guy lasted like a week or two.
Yeah, I think he lasted half a game.
Yeah.
And then, but what about, like, I'm like Josh Robinson? He played a little left tackle. I mean, I know he was. I mean, he had like one good play. I think he played a little against the Chiefs last year, actually. Maybe it was.
Wells got hurt about like 40 snaps into the Chiefs or the Dallas game. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, I think Robinson did come in. But anyways, I think we all are concerned at that situation and that position. But hopefully, if we take a majority of our snaps out of shotgun, Foles gets the ball out of his hand quick, does some quick hitters, hits these guys, then I think there's a chance that we can move the ball and keep the defense fresh a little bit.
Yeah.
But is the defense going to have to score to win the game?
I don't think so. I just think I think the main thing is we just can't turn a ball over. You know what I mean? I mean, like, we can't turn a ball over and give Patrick Mahomes, because last year, first of all, we spotted the Chiefs 7 points off a pick six.
Yeah.
And then we turned the ball over 4 other times.
Yeah.
So
was there an off the foot interception against the Chiefs last year?
It was an off the helmet.
I know there was that. I thought there was an off someone's foot last year as well.
I don't think there was just a bunch of just overthrows and just letting the ball sail.
Yeah, it just, like you said, I mean, you looked up in the first half and it was 20-0.
And Mahomes didn't play well at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, Blake was 33 for 61.
Yeah, 61. That's a sweet spot.
One thing we have not talked about, we played Kareem Hunt last year. I think that's a huge difference.
That's true. Kareem Hunt being gone.
That's a completely different
because
offense.
their run game, once Kareem Hunt left, like, it did.
Like, Damian Williams played well at points, but.
Yeah, but it was nothing like Kareem Hunt. I mean, their run game kind of went away in a little bit.
Patrick Mahomes was 22 for 38, 313 yards, and 2 interceptions.
69 passer rating, I believe.
Yeah, 0 touchdowns.
And that was his third lowest completion percentage in the whole season.
Yeah.
So.
But like I said, like, he didn't need to. Like, you look up at the scoreboard in the first half, and it's 20-0. So you're just like, okay, we're going to just kill the clock for the rest of the game. And in a game like that, I don't think you can really look at stats and be fair about it, because it's like they didn't have to. They didn't really have to try. But the defense did hold well.
Yeah. I do want to give a quick shout out to everyone on the live stream right now. We got 52 people watching. So I've left another Jags podcast there, channel link right down below. So definitely go subscribe them up, man. They're starting out their YouTube channel, do a lot of good different podcasts, and they do pretty much all their stuff live. So, and they're definitely very interactive. So definitely go subscribe to these guys. But what do you guys think of the whole, like, Antonio Brown situation?
Oh my gosh, I've seen it called a circus, like, everywhere, and that's really the best word for it. It's a circus. Like, the guy's a clown, and he's a great receiver, but, like, what are you doing? Like,
I just came across a pretty funny tweet. Mike Garafolo said on NFL Network that the Raiders try to get Keelan Doss back today, and the Jaguars upped his salary to the rookie minimum to keep him on the practice squad. So nice.
We should just promote him, man.
Yeah.
Get him on the roster. I mean, we've been kind of messing up with because I mean, a couple years ago, who do we have that? We had that big old dude, I think from like Iowa State.
Alan Lazard that went to the
Lazard.
Packers.
Yeah, Lazard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he goes on a walk. So then
Yeah.
even with the Brandon Calhoun, like he went on to the he went on to the Browns and had a pretty good.
Yeah.
And then now he's on the Texans.
And we know what happened to Brandon Marshall as well.
Brandon Marshall, yeah.
And we let Alex Magoo go this year, who I mean, he was the only person that was providing any kind of spark for our offense, And I think he could be a guy where, you see Taysom Hill out there. You see, I think they're even doing it with Trace McSorley, but try to turn him into a special teamer to kind of save a roster spot because he's athletic enough. I mean, he's a big dude.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would have tried to do something like that with him. And then because if Foles goes down, I don't trust that Gardner can lead the team. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily trust Magoo either, but you can put in a lot of RPO packages and try to keep the ball on the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he can get by for a week or two. I don't know because it was looking like I know Gardner Minshew is this great run dual threat quarterback in college, but he was looking slow out there for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
He wasn't looking like he was all that mobile. So I mean,
They don't play a lot of defense in the Pac-10, so.
yeah.
Pac-12.
Pac-12.
They really don't. What more than him being slow, like physically, it was like his going through his progressions.
Yeah.
Is what concerned me. It was like, dude, he's making one read, and if it's not there, he's tucking it, or he's
That's
taking
the
a
offense
sack.
he played in, though.
Yeah, I know. So, but Magoo, Tanner Lee, Gardner Minshew, they're all 6th, 7th round guys.
Yeah.
Like, why are we prioritizing Gardner Minshew over Magoo when clearly Magoo is the better quarterback? But like Marone said, they're evaluating in practice, so they must see things in practice that show them something that they don't show in the game. Who's the right tackle? That's absolutely awful.
Obuehi?
Who's the one that just got dogs?
I know who you're talking about. He was the 61.
Yeah.
Wester.
Oh,
yeah, like
God, he was awful. Oh my God.
It was we were watching it and it turned into the Leonard Wester show because of how bad he was. We were sitting there watching
consecutive plays after plays after plays.
He was either getting beat or holding
every
every single play. If that guy can make the team, then obviously they're not evaluating off of game film. They're evaluating off of practice. So my hope is that maybe Gardner Minshew has shown them something in practice that he hasn't been able to show in preseason because of the people around him.
I mean, the Jaguars, they've always prioritized draft picks. Last year they kept, Tanner Lee around, and they're always kind of keeping around their 6th, 7th round picks. It seems like this year, we kept all of our draft picks, but I don't know. I just don't like what the whole quarterback thing, how we're keeping around guys that I don't think really were the best quarterbacks around in the preseason.
Do you think it's I know Dave Caldwell comes from the Bill Polian tree, and they always said under Peyton Manning, why would you give the backup quarterback snaps? Because if Peyton goes down, you're screwed. Do you think it's in that philosophy kind of thinking, or?
I don't even know. It seems like it's probably that way.
Because if Foles goes down, I think we're probably screwed. So.
Even a couple weeks ago, Chad Henne went down for the Chiefs, and they go out and sign Matt Moore. I'd probably feel more comfortable with Matt Moore than, you know what I mean? I think there's guys out there, and I know I've kind of thought about Sam Bradford, but you're probably gonna have to spend, give him a little bit of money. So I don't know.
You could probably get him for $1 million.
No,
but with the,
you think so?
I don't know, because just with how much earnings that he's made, and I think for him, he'd have to look at what the offensive line situation is, because that dude's made out of glass.
That's true. He's not going to last very long if he's hitting the ground a lot.
Sports Fury says, "Do y'all want AB?" I don't think so.
I was going to ask you, in what circumstance would have to happen for you to be comfortable with us bringing Antonio Brown in?
The only way I'd feel comfortable is if we have a really tight locker room. I don't trust him around the only locker room I really trust him in is the Patriots, because I don't think he'll get in the Patriots locker room and create crazy distraction and take over the locker room like he did with Oakland. And the Jags aren't at the point where I feel like the locker room is that steady enough to bring in.
I don't feel like the Raiders have a lot of leadership in their locker room, though.
They got guys like Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah.
They got guys left and right.
Yeah, Richie Incognito.
Richie Incognito. That's the guy. I was like,
I was watching Hard
room.
Knocks, and I was like, this guy's around. It was funny because he seems like this happy-go-lucky guy.
Nope, just super racist and
Yeah.
bullies people.
And I remember one thing, like people were like fighting on the field. He's like, and Connie uses back there not getting into it. He's like, come on, what do they think's gonna happen out of this? I'm like, you went into a gym and like thrown weights all around the area and like all this
and
crazy
the funeral
shit.
home thing. He wanted like somebody's head at her funeral.
Yeah.
His dad's head.
Like
Yeah.
what? Like what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, he threatened like a funeral staff because he wanted his father's head. So he's a nutcase.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
like it was so funny hearing because Antonio Brown released a video last night and it was like John Gruden calling him, and it's like, what the hell's going on with you, man? Like,
was hilarious.
And then later on he's like, do you really want to be a Raider? And then Antonio Brown's like, I don't know, like I feel like you guys don't want me to be a Raider. And I'm sitting here like, wait, what is going on with him right now? Like, I know about the whole frostbitten feet thing, and then he was out because of that. But I think they're good back. I know he was complaining about his helmet, but I think he finally found a helmet. So like, what is he doing right now? Like, what's his reason for not showing up?
Well, I mean, so them taking the guaranteed money away, maybe. I mean, these guys are really prideful, and he seems like the type of guy. I mean, how much money was taken away in that guarantee? Like $30 million? Wasn't that something crazy like that? I mean, that would piss me off.
Yeah, because he
too.
hadn't how much guaranteed money.
Yeah, and so I mean, you take away $30 million of someone's guaranteed money, like they're just gonna piss them off. And these guys have a lot of pride, and so I could totally see that being the reason why he's like, you know what, just release me. Like, but who's gonna pick him up? Like you said, the Patriots can absorb a circus. I mean, they absorbed Tebow, they've absorbed guys. Who was the DN? They absorbed that was always in trouble.
Michael Bennett.
Michael Bennett, was that who it was?
Maybe,
Yeah. And so I mean, it's just
and they had like Brandon Spikes over there.
Spikes.
Yeah,
Aaron
I mean,
Hernandez. They've had all kinds of guys.
They can absorb him, but like you said, outside of them,
Like I think the Chiefs could. I mean,
God, I hope not.
I mean, where would he play? I mean, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins. Does Sammy Watkins move to the slot?
Well, I just mean he could fit inside of that
Their
locker room.
system?
I think,
Yeah.
and like their system, and like I don't think like he's gonna go there and all of a sudden destroy the team. And like even like the Steelers had a good situation because Tomlin has pretty good control over the team.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger does as well, but obviously, I mean, just looking at it now, like they dealt with him for that long without even really seeing. With the worst thing coming out was like an Instagram live video.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
Like
true.
over here, like Antonio Brown's just down in Florida during training camp practices, and it's just such a weird situation.
I think it's safe to say that he would not do well here, though, in this locker room with Doug Marrone, who apparently doesn't care at all what the players do and lets players destroy a locker room in dance parties.
God.
That was so weird.
It was one chair. You act like they tore the whole place apart.
That was such a weird video. And the only thing I really didn't like is it seemed like they were smacking the logo.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Like I've been
I
hyped.
think that's a little PC. I think we're looking for stuff to be offended by that.
No, it's no one's offended. It's just like odd.
No, but it was
Yeah.
that and the fact that of any player to be standing on a chair, it's a guy on a pup.
Yes,
because of an
on one.
ACL.
Yeah,
Like is this something like
that
this?
was the
It's like-
weirdest part.
It's like, dude, like, yeah. But who was it? Who was it that was talking about the training staff? And
It was Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. Like,
They're notoriously bad.
there's
up there,
another
though.
guy, right? There was who was it? Philip Heilman. This is what I want to get your take on this. So I'm glad we hit this in the first segment. Philip Heilman said that we should explore trading Yannick Ngakoue for Trent Williams. Give us your thoughts on that.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I saw it out there, but I mean, unless you're actually planning on paying Trent Williams, then I wouldn't. I mean, I just with us in the kind of a win now situation. I mean, I'd be more so just going to. I think Yannick Ngakoue is more valuable than.
What
Trent
about
Williams
picks? Would you trade picks for Trent Williams at all?
I don't like trading draft picks. I
Yeah.
like draft picks.
He's good.
And the thing is, like, you'll trade it away, and then you're put in a situation where they're gonna have a lot of leverage over you because you're able to. Because just like, I mean, if you look at the Laramie Tunsil thing, it would probably be taken about the same thing as the Laramie Tunsil. And when you're trading away two first round picks, then all of a sudden they've got so much leverage over you because you kind of leverage your future, and they can use that to kind of get a big contract.
But you do say that we are win now. I mean, with Trent Williams, I mean that's a really good offensive line right there.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against it if that happened.
No,
then-
I'm not saying like 2 firsts, but like what about a second and a fourth or something like that?
Oh, I would do it for that.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. But I think it's more in the range of like a 2 first round
Okay.
pick trade.
Maybe.
I mean, how are you going to re-sign a guy that's going to demand? He's going to be top paid
It's a
offensive
rental.
lineman.
It's a 1 year rental. Cam Robinson, are you?
I don't want to trade a second round pick for a 1 year
Yeah,
rental.
If I'm
we've
trading, then I've got to know that I'm going to be re-signing him.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen Seattle do it. They just did it for Clowney. They did it for Sheldon Richardson a few years ago.
Yeah, but they're in a different position than we are.
How so?
They're not capped out on money.
They're not.
Yeah,
They're around the
just
same
paid
area
Russell
as ours.
Wilson,
Yeah,
so
they're
their
and
quarterback,
Bobby Wagner.
They have a quarterback for the future. Our quarterback, I mean, we hope he's of the future, but in reality, he's on a 2-year deal as far as the dead cap. So
Doesn't it make even more sense to trade for him then?
no, because I think that when you are looking at a team that has all these, like we still have to re-sign Jalen Ramsey. We just signed Miles Jack. We don't know the future of Telvin Smith.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of not in a position where we can go out and get these free agents.
We cut Darius. That's $20 million right there. I'm not that worried about the cap.
Yeah, but the thing is though with me, like I want to, because right now I gotta figure out how to re-sign our own guys in house, and I think I look at the left tackle and he's got 2 more years at including this year, and then the right tackle we've got 4 years, and unless like you bring in a guy and like if we bring in Trent Williams and say trade a 2nd and 4th round pick for him and don't re-sign him, then like if we don't win a Super Bowl, then it's a bad trade.
Okay.
And and I don't know. I just look at it as a situation where I just don't want to like really mortgage a future, and really if we don't have any money or plans to re-sign him, and I don't think that we're a left tackle away from being like great.
Okay.
Like I'm more worried about the cohesiveness of the pass game. Like I mean, of course we have Nick Foles. I still have a little bit of questions mark on Nick Foles just because we've never really had a great quarterback in Jacksonville, and with the whole receiving threat, and behind that, the big thing I worry about is just our depth, because our depth is like paper thin.
Not good.
Like we're so good. Like I think all our starting level.
Our all
talent
22 is
great,
legit.
But man, like right behind it, it's worrisome.
Yeah, and even like the guys that are young, like there's hope for them. There's guys like Raquel Armstead. There's hope, but in reality, like Blue is our backup running back. But if we're all being honest with ourselves, by the end of this season, we're all kind of expecting Raquel Armstead to be the backup running back.
Yeah.
And like, how sure are you about him? Like, I'm not.
I've seen him play like 5 snaps.
Yeah, I mean, like I want him to be good, and he looked like he was good at Temple, but that's not.
I think they're going to ride the Fournette train. I don't think he would be playing that much.
Yeah,
anyways.
and obviously, but we look at other positions at wide receiver. You got D.D. Westbrook, you have Chark, and then outside of that, you're looking at guys like Keelan Cole.
What is Conley on, a 1-year deal or is it a 2?
I think it was a 2-year deal.
Okay.
2 years, $10 million, right?
Okay.
Is that what he was on?
Probably
or 2 years, 7? I think 2 years.
It wasn't a 1-year deal, because I would have remembered that.
No, it was 2 years, 7, I believe, and then because Moncrief, I remember, was a 1-year 10, which is insane. Although he did lead the Jags in receiving last time we played the Chiefs.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't DJ Chark. I remember DJ Chark had a couple nice.
He had 2 good plays, but as far as like actual yards, Moncrief had 6 receptions for 76 yards.
Yeah.
So and then
how many receiving did
Chark had 2 receptions for 68 yards.
Wow.
And like less than 200 yards on a season. So
yeah,
that's like pretty much both in total.
And I think they happened like on the same drive. Yeah. And I think that's why you remember it, is because it was like on the same drive. And you're like, oh dang, like DJ Chark's he had that huge big play. I think it was like a back shoulder catch he had, and then he had that nice, like I think it was a post route, a skinny post. But it was a good thing.
There's a couple deep balls. I'm hoping that because that's what Nick Foles likes to do, and I don't know. I just think with this game coming up, I think we're gonna have to open a lot of the run game with the pass game.
Yeah.
Like I would like to come out firing, just because one of their quarterbacks is suspended the first game, and they're really
suspended.
Yeah, Claiborne, and they're really not left with much behind that. And they have Kyle Fuller, but he plays more of the slot. So let's attack the outside and kind of have that and have them on their heels, and then punch them in the mouth with Leonard Fournette. So
I think I read that Yeldon played 78 snaps versus the Chiefs last year.
Yeah, because Corey Grant got hurt.
The second play of the game. So I think Fournette's going to be absolutely huge.
Yeldon had 10 carries for 53 yards.
And that's one reason why Bortles had 61 pass attempts,
God.
because we had no running backs in there. Because I don't even think Brandon Wiles was active.
2 carries for 6 yards for Brandon Wiles.
So he was active. But we didn't give him the ball at all. Like,
did what's his name play that game? The Chiefs, Jamal Charles?
Jamal Charles for us?
No,
or for them?
We acquired him
play
the
for
next
us?
game for
Okay.
Dallas.
No, they had Damian Williams, Spencer Ware, and Kareem Hunt.
Spencer Ware. I'm surprised we didn't give him a look at all.
He had 1 carry for 0 yards, so I don't think he was. Well, let's just hit this one last question, then we'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll just do a second segment, and then we'll probably wrap it up with 2 segments. This question's from Brent Papineau, and he says, does it seem like as Fournette goes, so goes our season? If he has a Pro Bowl year, are the playoffs almost a lock if we stay healthy?
Ooh.
I mean, a lot of that I think is dependent on Raquel Armstead. Like, how good is he going to be?
Can he spell him? Is what you're saying? Like,
I mean, a lot of it has been on him because obviously last year once Fournette got hurt, but there was also in conjunction with how our offensive line was slowly getting injured and just that we have no threat in the pass game, so we had to have we were going up against loaded boxes all the time. But I'd had to see Raekwon Armstead. I was actually excited about the Raekwon Armstead pick because I went to UCF and he had like 140 yards against UCF this year before like getting injured in the third quarter, and I was like, thank God. And then we drafted him like, oh, we got Raekwon back, but I don't know. Like I think it could hurt us. Like I think not having Fournette could really hurt us. To be honest with you.
Yeah, so I think Brent's spot on. If the season might go as Fournette goes, and every coach and every interview seems to talk about how Fournette is like the offense, which is strange because John DeFilippo isn't known for running the ball. But we'll see. Maybe he's changed. Tom Coughlin probably has a way of controlling coordinators better than the Vikings, whoever their GM VP was. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and quick word from our ads and our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with our second segment with UCF Jaguar. So stick around and catch us after this break.
You know what player we should have gotten in the in free agency? I was like Frank Gore. Like, who better to have inside the building for Fournette to have a guy on like a $1 million deal that they can just. I mean, for Frank Gore, I mean, he's got a Hall of Fame career, and the guy is like in his like mid-30s for a running back.
And it's overcame some of the worst injuries you can overcome.
Yeah, I mean, he's perfect for his body. I just think with Fournette, I mean, we do have to. I mean, it seems like he's got his mind on right, but like if it feels like they probably hired a running back coach that'll be able to fit him well. But I just think that getting someone amongst his peers, an actual like in the running back room, like a player, I thought that'd be like really good for him as opposed to having him as the most really accomplished player in the running back room.
I think I watched one of your videos when you were talking about that, and I was like, that's a great idea. Like, I'd never thought about that, and we should have had someone in there for these young guys to. Well, remember that one year we had like all rookies. It was like Gus Bradley's like first or second year. And we were like, man, this could like be really bad, but it could be good. But we're like, man, there's a reason why teams go out and get veterans for a reason. I think we had the youngest team. I think it was like 2016 or 2015. We had like the youngest team in the NFL. And we were like, terrible. I mean, it was our 2-win season. And it was like, that's why teams go out and get veterans. It's for a reason. It's not because, it's because they can mentor players in the locker room. It's because they can bring like professional habits to a team. So I think there's something to be said to get a guy like that.
And like not only that, in like 2012, like not only were we super young, but we were drafting players from like South Georgia schools and like all these small schools, and it's like we were literally basically fielding like a community college team with some with some first round draft picks sprinkled in there.
We were looking at our long snapper the other day. Our long snapper is from an NAIA school.
Yeah, Azura State. I think
that was a weird cut, Overton.
Yeah, it was. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Like, was he hurt? Was he? I mean, we kept Carson Tinker around a while when he wasn't, when he was tearing ACLs and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I actually, you remember Joe Zelinka when he had long snapper for a while?
I love Joe
I ran
Zelinka.
into Joe Zelinka the other day.
He's a funny dude.
Yeah,
He's a
he
nice
is,
guy.
man. He is, and it's weird that I don't think I've ever seen a player in the NFL from the NAIA. I can't think of one ever in my life.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So, what was the name of the school he was at?
Azura State,
Azura State in California.
Dude, I have no idea.
Never heard of it.
But that's interesting. All right, so I'm just going to re-intro our podcast because if you're watching UCF's video or you're watching our live video, we also make podcasts. We're actually a podcast. We're another Jags podcast. So welcome back. This is episode 85 on our channel. If you're on our feed, you can find us on Big Cat Country. You can find us on Overtime Network. We're on all kind of feeds. We're here with UCF Jaguar, which is awesome. Like, we can't believe that he's here. You're going to the game tomorrow?
Definitely.
Going to the game? All right.
I wouldn't be in Jacksonville if not, man.
Yeah. What are your tickets looking like?
I actually got hooked up with some free tickets, so they're down like I think in section 212 or something like that. Here, I'll give you.
We need to get that YouTube game up for free tickets. That's what we need. Get really awesome so we get free stuff.
Do it, bro.
Yeah.
People are out there.
Nice,
People willing to give it up.
Yeah, we usually go to the Sky Patio, especially tomorrow because it's gonna be so hot. I hope you're hydrating.
I'm hydrating right now.
Because that heat index is gonna be brutal.
Yeah, it's luckily I'm a true Floridian, so I don't get like overly hot, and usually I'm cool under pressure. But guys, if you guys want to meet up with me, I'll be in section 232, row K. So I don't know if I'll probably be there 30 minutes before the game if anyone wants to stop by, say what's up. But yeah, I'm so fired up, man. Especially after just such a crap preseason.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy for some real football. Even the game the other night, everyone was kind of complaining about it, but I don't mind defensive battles. Like, I like good defense.
If you win, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just talking about, like, I thought it was a good game on Thursday.
Yeah.
Even though the offense was sloppy, I just like good defense.
I'm really excited for Foles. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm a big fan of defensive battles. If you have a good defense, I kind of feel like the Thursday night game was just more of like sloppy offenses, though.
Yeah.
Like when the Bears and the Packers, like Trubisky looked really bad. I don't expect him.
He's not good.
I don't expect him to be that bad all year, though. I mean, first week ones of the NFL season are always weird. Like, what happened last year on week one? What didn't like the
Saints lost to the Bucks?
Yeah.
The Browns tie with the Steelers, which is really weird.
It's like random weird stuff happens week one, which is why I'm glad we're playing the Chiefs week one. But I don't think you can put too much stock into like other games, especially nowadays when people are not playing in the preseason.
Yeah, it's also good that we get this game over with. But if you look around the AFC South, there's a lot of tough games. I mean, the Texans play the Saints. The Colts play the Chargers, and
Browns, Titans.
Titans play the Browns.
That's gonna
so
be a good game.
I'm glad there's not this team's playing like the Bucs this week or we were playing that last place schedule, so we get the benefit of playing the Jets and the Bengals, which if you look at those divisions, I'm definitely glad we drew those guys.
I saw on the timeline some Buccaneer fans talking about how they think they're going to have a top 10 defense this year. So I thought that was kind of funny.
I don't know, man. It would have helped to draft Derwin James instead of the other guy they got.
I don't understand passing on Josh Allen either. I don't for a middle linebacker.
They took that linebacker.
Yeah, I do not get that.
It's supposed to be pretty good though.
But they not even consider Josh Allen though.
You don't know if they didn't consider him.
The weirdest thing was getting Cleveland Farrell instead of Josh
He's
Allen.
not going to be that great.
That was the weird thing.
And it was like Mayock in them. It was
Yeah.
not like it was like...
He was the third best Clemson defensive lineman last year, and they took him first.
That was Mike Mayock was my favorite NFL draft insider. I loved how he just dropped one mock draft every year instead of doing mock 8.0.
Yeah.
Because you never really knew what they were really...
So annoying.
He was I know Pete Prisco's been on 1010XL and said, look, I had to come up with different things, so I just switched some stuff up just to... but with him, that's his true board.
I like how he came out with a mock draft, even though he was a GM.
Yeah,
that was the weird. Yeah, I was like the weirdest thing. I was like, how true is this?
He came out with one before.
Yeah,
the draft?
no, he came out with who he thinks will be drafted. Like he came out with not a mock draft. He came out with a ranking of what's it called, the best available or whatever.
Big board.
Big board. He came out with the big board.
He did it after the draft.
No, he
right?
did it before.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was because he had Kyler Murray number 1, and everyone was like, "Oh man, he's trying to throw people off," so they draft Kyler Murray. But he was one of the first ones to kind of get on the Kyler Murray bandwagon.
Yeah, I know with San Francisco, I remember they were picking, and I mocked them to get Quinnen Williams just because, I just worry about the Bosa brothers, their injury concerns.
Yeah,
and the guy's already hurt. You know what I mean?
You can't help getting rolled up on like that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I
didn't actually see the injury, but I just heard his injury. I'm like, well,
yeah, you get rolled up on.
Heard that before.
That's my dad on YouTube asks how many times
I hope not.
My dad is not on YouTube. I can promise you that. It says, how many times does Mahomes get sacked on Sunday? More or less than Foles?
We'll go first.
No, you guys can go first.
I say Mahomes gets sacked 3 times, less than Foles. Foles gets sacked twice.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna say Foles gets sacked more just because we have. The thing is, we have our third left tackle right now, and just Mahomes is such a good quarterback. He's good at getting rid of it. He's good at escaping. His escapability, he's accurate. And just the Chiefs' offense it's such a good system. I think we have a better D line, but I think that Foles probably gets sacked more.
I've been meaning to ask this: how many pressures do you think Will Richardson gives up? Over under 7 pressures.
Okay. Let me just
That's a lot of pressures.
Let me comment on that though. And I think, and here's why I'm not so worried about this, because DeFilippo, I've watched a lot of Vikings film. I watched a lot of the preseason film. The dude loves running 2 tight end sets. Loves it. He'll put both on the end line. He'll put 2 on the same side. I think he's going to just put 2 tight ends next to whoever's playing left tackle all game.
Isn't that taking a better player off the field, though? That kind of sucks.
It does, but it gives up the liability with Richardson or whoever it is. And I think they're going to have the running back to that side every play. I think they're going to have 2 tight ends there. They know they have a deficiency there, and they're not going to just leave him on an island to get exposed all game, is what I hope.
Yeah.
So the question is can O'Shaughnessy and Swaim, can they help out in the pass blocking department?
I think they're both pretty solid there in that area. Swaim was known for that in Dallas, so.
He's known for that, but his PFF gradings weren't that great. O'Shaughnessy's grades were better than Swaim's.
All I know is if we double somebody up, they better be blocking them. I don't want them. I don't. You know what I mean? I don't want us to double up Frank Clark and all of a sudden he gets loose and he gets hit on the quarterback.
Swims through 2 guys.
Will Richardson, he's got he's such a big body and stuff, but I think he plays with a really high pad level. He needs to bend his knees a little bit more, and I don't know. It's just he doesn't. I feel like he's got the tools to be there, but he's just got a lot to work on, technique wise.
I agree 100%. I watched a lot of him at NC State, and it seems like he never uses his hands. It seems like he kind of leans.
He's leaning on people.
Yeah. He doesn't. And
how do you explain? Ooh. And he was the highest graded PFF right tackle of all time. He gave up the fewest pressures they've ever recorded for a tackle. I think it was less than 10. how does that
But
happen?
wasn't the right guard also drafted in like the third round?
The center was pretty solid.
Yeah, and so, I mean, they had a couple guys on that line that were pretty good.
Still,
it wasn't just him.
to give up like 10, less than 10.
I mean, they played in the ACC. I mean, look who's rushing.
A lot of good pass rushers in that.
I'm just kidding.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch too much of him in like college, but I just know like from watching him, mainly just this preseason, I'm just watching him, and I don't know, like he seemed a little bit slow on his pulls too, and I just really the whole entire offensive line that we've been putting out there has just been so disappointing. Yeah, and, like he wasn't even. I mean, he was one of the best of like when you see Wester out there getting worked on. And
so
even
glad
like
we cut him.
Obuehi, I saw one play where a dude was rushing the quarterback, and this dude trips. And then he's on the ground. He goes and like sacks the quarterback, or gets like or holds him up. I'm like, this guy's on the ground.
The easiest block ever.
He tripped and he was on the ground. They beat him. I'm like, what is going on?
So that's a guy that like I could block on the ground, crawling.
Yeah, like I was like, what are you doing, Obuehi? But I don't know. Even I mean, we are on our third left tackle right now, but I don't even know how much more comfortable I'd feel with like Cam Robinson or Obuehi right now, just because I mean Cam's been dealing with his knee stuff and he's had like no practice.
Yeah. And like in the videos we see, it looks kind of sketchy with his knee.
I didn't even think he was all that great in his rookie year.
Cam?
Yeah, I agree. He looked like a second-round left tackle. I mean, that's what he looked like to me. And we wanted to make him like as this steal that we got in the second round that we traded up for. But in reality, he looked like a second-round left tackle. And in reality,
if you're compared to his draft class, he's been pretty solid. I mean, Garrett Bowles has been trash. Led the NFL in penalties last year for offensive tackle.
Yeah, but compared to the tackles that came out last year, though, like
they were okay. Who came out last year was
Colton Miller. I mean,
that was 2 years ago, and he's been bad for the Raiders. There was
I thought
the good one was
time flies.
Notre Dame guy. What was his name? That went to the Niners
or something like that.
McClatchy. Was that? I think that was last year.
2 years ago. The tackles last year were like Jawan, Cody Ford, Greg Little.
But did that guy on the Denver offensive line go Bowles or whatever his name is?
That was 2 years ago. Yeah, that was the Cam Robinson year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out there, and but hey, circling back to Trent Williams, maybe that is a guy that you have to go out and get a free agent.
And you were talking about the trainers in Washington. They're notoriously bad. Geis has had multiple surgeries. Alex Smith's had to get like 3 or 4 surgeries. I feel like they're incompetent, honestly.
Yeah, I mean. Have you ever seen a player hold out because of training staff? Have you ever seen that before?
Tampa, when they had the MRSA outbreak, maybe, but
does Tom Brady with his doctor count?
Oh,
even though that wasn't really a holdout.
It's just like you don't see a lot of those issues come up, and
it's obviously a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Apparently, AB is interested in the Panthers, Texans, Patriots, and maybe the Ravens.
I would not like to see him in the Texans.
No,
that's for sure.
Him and DeAndre Hopkins, no.
But do you think that's a stable enough locker room for him? I mean, the thing I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know if he need like DeAndre Hopkins gonna hold him down and be that like friend to him and
JJ Watt maybe.
In check. Because who on the Raiders is gonna be able to keep AB in check? Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, watching Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I mean, Derek Carr is just such a boring
goober.
And we had such personalities the last couple of years, like Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, and even like Jared Goff, even though he was goofy as hell when he was on it. But I don't know. It's just it was just a weird environment. It was kind of a disappointing Hard Knocks to me.
What's it called is definitely much better. All or Nothing is.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I watched it with the Panthers. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
I'd like to watch it on it because I know when the Cardinals were on it, they were pretty good. I'd like to see
that was the best series by far. Yeah,
it was cool because in that one you had all of, or I'm talking about in the Panthers one, like Cam Newton was like really funny how he's like picking out his like feathered fedora outfits, and you also had the Eric Reed come in and just see like how all that went on inside the
new owner as well. So
and it was funny because they were on a call. Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly called Josh Norman.
Yeah,
and then they were sitting there having a conversation. He's like, "Hey man," Ken's like, "Hey, if I see number 24 when I rolling out, I ain't juking." This is so funny.
I like Cam a lot.
I liked the All or Nothing with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is like
does not let back at all.
Very vulgar.
Yeah, he's super vulgar.
Very vulgar. And I'm surprised he's not back in the league.
He is.
He's the coach of the Bucks.
Jesus.
That's how relevant the Bucks are. So
I'm not saying, man, he's the only reason why I have any hope in the Bucks. Because Bucks have a good coaching staff right now. They have Bruce Arians as the head coach, and they had Bowles as the defense coordinator, and Byron Leftwich as the offense coordinator.
Wow.
And Byron Leftwich is supposed to be like like a head coach one day.
People love him as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Didn't he get fired from Arizona though?
Well, I think he got let go of the staff.
Yeah, I guess they
because
all did.
the new guy came in there. Then I don't know where Byron Leftwich was last year. I had to think he's somewhere around the league, but
I thought he was with Arizona last year.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Yeah,
okay.
He was their offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
because they had Mike McCoy for a few games, then fired him and brought him up from QB coach.
Yeah, then when you're bringing in Cliff Kingsbury, you're gonna have to kind of
what a
probably
strange
let go.
move.
They're gonna have to.
I'm excited to see it though.
They went with the handsome youth movement. Like, let's go. I was listening to what's that show? Barstool Sports.
Oh,
they're like,
God.
they have like the Rooney Rule where they have to interview like minorities. They're like, we need to make a curmudgeon rule where you have to interview like one just completely disgusting, like the Browns Browns offensive line coach kind of guy,
Bob Wiley.
Yeah, like interview like a Charlie Weiss or something like that for the job.
That's true. Everyone's going with that like California 5 o'clock shadow.
They say anyone that's had a cup of coffee with McVay is going to get a head coaching job. So
that's true.
Dude, that was cool on this Hard Knocks though, was seeing like they did a throwback of when it was like 10 years ago when John Gruden was on the head coach of the Bucs. Then like literally Sean McVay was in there. I was like kind of like an intern.
Yeah.
And he was just like, John Gruden's like, so what do you want to be one day? Do you actually want to? You got to be about this. And then just like seeing like the guy was in a Super Bowl less than 10 years later.
Yeah.
It's just wild just seeing this this wide-eyed intern. Just clean shaven, just so young, like where he was gonna wind up.
It's the Jags have always had good coaches on their coaching staff. Dom Capers, like, what do you think he adds to the coaching staff?
Well, I didn't think much at first, but all of a sudden we've kind of flipped our defense around a little bit. I mean, I've been seeing like not often have I seen our defensive ends like in a 2-point stance. At the end of the line, all of a sudden like first game I see that, and we haven't seen Yannick Ngakoue doing much because he hasn't been out there playing. But I'd be interested to see like what he looks like in the system. And like one thing that I wonder this year is obviously we couldn't come to a contract agreement with Yannick Ngakoue, but I almost think like maybe like in the second half of the season, Josh Allen might be getting more snaps than Yannick Ngakoue, just because.
Honestly, dude, I've been getting raked over the coals for saying that, dude. I really have.
Yannick is a top 10 defensive end, guys.
No, but the thing is though, in run support, Josh Allen is just built so much better for it.
Yeah, and he gets down the line and actually pursues the carrier, where Yannick Ngakoue kind of gives up sometimes.
Like, I mean, he's just genetically built better.
Yeah.
Than Yannick Ngakoue right now. Then the way obviously. I think there were probably a lot of overreactions to the Dolphins game that he had, but I mean, he looked like a Khalil Mack out there.
Yeah,
and
mean,
he has a Khalil Mack potential, and if
absolutely,
and I think we can all agree that Khalil Mack is better than Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I mean, obviously,
why not have both though? You have your Von Miller and Bradley Chubb for the next 5 years to 10 years.
I mean, I'd like to have it, but they couldn't come to an agreement. I don't know what it's gonna, because right now, I mean,
didn't they only offer him 3 years? Is that what I saw? I think it was.
Was
like
it 3 years?
I think
it was 50 guaranteed. It was like 3 years, like. What was it, 70 with 50 guaranteed?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers.
I thought it was fair for both sides, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
Which I never understand, like, why players are all wanting these long-term deals. Like, because, like all these players never want to play on
the exact opposite of the NBA.
Yeah, like, all these players are not want to play on their franchise tag. It's like, dude, you got all this guaranteed money, and it's like just a year, and you can still, like Allen Robinson. I thought his contract was awesome with the Bears because he signed like a 3-year deal. He signed like a 3-year deal when he was like 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden he's going to be able to get another contract when he's 26 years old.
Yeah.
I tweeted this the other day. Allen Robinson is going into is it his 5th NFL season or his 6th?
He's gone into 6th.
And he is 24 years old. Calvin Ridley is going into his 2nd year and is like 6 months younger than Allen Robinson. So
Allen Robinson is always super young.
It's crazy, man. I can't believe we let him go.
Yeah, it sucks. But he wanted the
league. I definitely give you
he
franchise tag him.
He didn't want to be here.
Franchise tag him.
You don't want someone that doesn't want to be here.
It's football.
It's not though. I mean, you look at especially nowadays with like guys like Le'Veon Bell who are just like,
okay,
I'm not
Robinson
gonna play.
would act like that though.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who was like, no, I want to get out of here. Like, how often does that happen?
And like, you don't want like with him, like you don't want just a guy that's like
exactly
like, that's acting like he's better because even like because I remember even the Green Bay game, like the last play we do that little bubble screen. And then like he like wasn't even like trying on his block.
I mean,
like
that
was
a
dumb
big play.
It was a dumb play, but it did not even look like he gave it.
Yeah.
And how many times was he pass interference that game? 10 times. That was the most egregious, horrible reffing I've seen in a long time. They literally came back and said we missed like 5 pass interferences on Allen Robinson. Yeah, it was bad.
But I don't know. He went off the other day. I think he had over 100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought that he was a great player, but I wasn't going to be all bent out of shape about it just because I knew he didn't really want to be here. But, like right now, like when we look at what we need to re-sign, though, like I think I'll be interested to see what Jalen Ramsey gets because I think he's going to be out there like commanding like quarterback money, which I get to see like because you see all these guys that you think are outrageous. Like I forget who, but somebody recently was like, I want to get paid as much as like a quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be really expensive. But when you look at who we're gonna re-sign, like if you had to choose between, like hypothetically speaking, if you had to choose between Yannick Ngakoue and Jalen Ramsey, like I see probably Jalen Ramsey is a better cornerback than Yannick as a defensive end.
And I think that's what kind of softens this whole thing with Ngakoue is that very thing because we all want Ngakoue back, but we all would rather have Jalen Ramsey.
Why can we have all of it though? I don't understand that.
Because that's like your cake and eating it too.
It seems like every other team seems to be able to do that besides us.
Not really. I mean, you see teams lose people to cap casualties all the time.
Well,
the thing is, one thing you see we do a lot is we're signing a bunch of free agents from other teams. Like we're giving all these other like Tashawn Gibsons and like
that's because
Barry
we haven't drafted
money.
well though.
Yeah.
But we let Tashawn Gibson walk at $6 million. Like he could have definitely helped our defense this year because he was getting $6 million. We let him walk.
That's top 5 safety money though.
But I also don't mind because the players that you want to sign the guys at premier positions. Like you want to be able to draft and replace safeties.
You reward your own. You're supposed to.
Yeah, and you want to. I mean, even like when Telvin Smith comes back, he's not going to be playing on the Jaguars anymore.
I'm completely happy with him retiring and taking that money.
But I think he's going to want to come back eventually. And then the Jaguars are going to have to do something about him because like we have Miles under a good amount of money at middle linebacker. Then you just drafted Quincy Williams with a third round draft pick, and you don't need to be investing all that money on linebackers. So we're gonna with Darius right now. He's due $20 million next year. So
he's gone.
I mean, you gotta see if he can restructure his contract somehow.
I think it's gonna be him gone and then Calais restructures. And I keep seeing people say AJ's gone. I really hope he's not because he's fantastic. But I could see Boye being gone.
But there is all kinds of players being cut. I mean.
Hayden, Marquise Lee can come off the contract next year.
Definitely can. Like one of our offensive linemen between Brandon Leonard and Andrew Norwell.
Yeah.
Andrew Norwell will probably be the one that gets cut out of those guys.
So?
But I mean, I think
if he stays healthy.
Yeah,
that's true. He doesn't. I mean, we'll see with because I think last year when on the field, Brandon Leonard was better. But yeah, I mean the guy, and not only does he get injured every year, he has like an illness every year. Like he'll be out with a flu, and I'm like, who does this?
We get some emergency.
Like it's all these like he'll miss like random October games. He has a flu. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's hilarious.
Well, for our podcast, I think we're gonna cut it there. We may stay on a little bit with
I'm down.
UCF Jags
Michigan
channel.
won. Dang it.
UCF Jags channel, UCF Jaguars channel. You can go over to there. We love him. He's awesome. We're pumped that he's here. But we're gonna wrap up our podcast here. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at @AnotherJagsPod. And you can follow UCF Jag on Twitter at
UCF_Jag.
There you go. Make sure you follow both of us in there. And thank you for listening. And as always, go Jags.
All right, cool. So I'll take some.